I'll hit record. That's pretty much a prerequisite of putting out a podcast.
Oh, I think you're onto something.
Right? Hey guys, I know. Instead of just having these conversations, let's tape them and then post them to the internet.
To Don't Worry, Darling. Sometimes the behind-the-scenes gossip on a movie makes more headlines than the movie itself. This time around, it was the press tour for Don't Worry, Darling that made all the headlines. There was Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles' affair. Then we had Spitgate, where it looks like Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine at the Venice premiere. Also, Styles answering a question from the press like a dimwit while Chris Pine next to him sits emotionless, trying not to laugh. As they say, no press is bad press. But is the movie any good? I hit the theater to find out. Don't Worry, Darling seemed to come roaring into theaters with more hype than it needed. Unfortunately, it does not live up to the expectations. The good news, Florence Pugh stars in it, and she does not disappoint. She plays Alice Chambers, who is married to Jack, played by Harry Styles. The couple seems to live in the perfect 1950s setting. Think Stepford Wives. Each morning, the men go off to work at the Victory Project, a top secret site that the women are not allowed to attend. The utopia setting being so nice, there should be no reason to care what is so secret anyways. However, there are cracks in the perfect setting as soon as the movie opens. One wife has had enough and takes things into her own hands. Alice happens to see this and cannot shake it off. Her curiosity sends her out exploring the town and nearby desert to seek the truth. Don't Worry, Darling presents some big ideas, but they are all underdeveloped. Seasoned moviegoers like our jawheads will have seen movies with similar twists and themes and will not be shocked at all. And that could have been okay if the script decided to explore the background of the secret or dive deeper into the actual mechanics of what is going on with the Victory Project. Instead, director Olivia Wilde rests her laurels on the twist or reveal in the script. It was not enough for me, and I don't think it will be for most. On the positive side, as I mentioned, Florence Pugh pours in another excellent performance. She acts circles around Harry Styles in every scene they are in together. The cinematography is beautiful, and I really like the creative choice of the score here. It was different and really worked. In the end, this is a nice looking movie that falls short on the ideas it presents. Matt, I was a little disappointed with Don't Worry, Darling.
Well, don't worry, Rye the movie guy. So here's my question. Speaking of soundtracks, as we did earlier, isn't this one with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross?
No, I don't believe so. But
can we toss it in the fish tank? Because I really thought that it was. I could be wrong, but anyway, at least it's got that going for it. And Florence Pugh, she has done no wrong. But there's a lot of like mystery around this, and I know you have to dance around spoilers. Was it
right?
The twist?
I'm spoiler free here.
Okay, right. Spoiler free. Was it the twist that let you down, or by the time that was revealed, you just didn't care anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I think as I was trying to present there, like the twist is, I think something all three of us right here talking would all be like, oh, okay, yeah, we've seen something very close to this before, and that can be okay if it's borrowing or has an idea that
paying homage,
is similar to another film. If it then takes that and maybe goes a different direction with it or explores it a little bit deeper. Instead, it just really presents the twist, and that's the idea. It's almost like an M. Night Shyamalan film in that sense where the idea of the film was the twist. And it's not that strong of a twist. And having seen stuff like it before, it really does feel flat. Like, whoa, they could have went into this. Like, okay, I understand the twist. Let's dive in a little bit deeper. Instead, it was really just presenting the twist.
But here's the real question. Was it a twist or a reveal?
I would say this one falls in the twist category.
Wow. Now I have to see this movie just so I can understand the difference between a twist and a reveal.
You're a sucker for a twist.
Who doesn't love a good twist, you know?
Well,
I mean, like Chubby Checker, twist and shout.
Right, but this is a twist we've seen before. You will be underwhelmed also. So that was the disappointment. It's almost as if the script thought it was much smarter than it was. Like, wow, we're really going to shock the audience. And I walked away like, man, I was expecting a lot more.
Yeah. So is there anything that like, is it haunting? Is it disturbing? Or is it just kind of like, meh?
Yeah, none of those things. I wish it was. It's very middle of the road on everything else. Outside of the wonderful performance from Pugh, everything else, like, okay, I wasn't scared. You don't laugh too much. You're intrigued. I will say that you're intrigued for about the first hour of what's going on, but you're already guessing one of maybe the most it could be is like one of 5 things. And sure enough, it's one of those 5 things. And you're like, okay, that was it. All right, got it. Cool. Done. So disappointed on that level.
Bummer. Where does this compare to like, say, like a Gone Girl?
Not nearly as good and thrilling as a Gone Girl, for sure. But Gone Girl was more, I mean, that wasn't so much of a twist. That was just a well-told story, I think,
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
But it's not in that category.
All right. Well, let's get to your jaw-dropping moment, Rye. What did you
I went with what I would say is the most tense moment in the movie, and it involves a scene where Alice and Jack, who is Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, have a dinner party where they invite their neighbors over, and Alice confronts Frank, who is played by Chris Pine. Now, I haven't mentioned him. He's probably the second strongest performance in the movie. He does pretty well. When he hits pretty well, and he's good here. Not great, but very solid. And Alice is onto something. She wants to have Frank over there because he's like the leader of this utopia. He's, if you will, he's the mayor of the town. He doesn't have that official title, but think of him in that sense.
Got it.
So he's the boss, and she wants to have him over, and it's a big deal for him to come to like the employee's house or the people below him's house. And he accepts the offer and goes over. And with her alternative motive, once they do sit down to have dinner, she starts really going after what's going on with the Victory Project and what's happening here. And everybody else, Nick Kroll is in this movie, if you're familiar with him. And he's fun, not funny enough for me, but he's stunned, and the neighbors are flabbergasted that someone would even question Frank on the validity of what's going on here. But Florence Pugh goes for it, and he actually respects that from her, that she's willing to like push the limits of knowledge and trying to figure out what exactly is happening here. That scene was probably the best. I wish they could have held on to that throughout the entire movie, but really only that scene contained that much tension.
Bummer. How about a movie poster quote?
I went with, don't worry, darling. It has styles, but no depth.
It would have been good if you had a Johnny Depp in there. You could have made a...
Yeah. But I went with styles.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
You see what I did there.
You could have said, don't worry, darling, Pew. How many jaws you giving this?
I'm dusting off the quarter jaw.
Oh, right.
1.75. 1.75 jaws. So bit of a disappointment.
Yeah. Sorry to hear it, man. Sorry to hear it.